What's up, guys? Game of Rome Total War here. Facing Hamilcar Barca. He's taken Carthage. He has 3 cav and a whopping 17 Sacred Band. I've taken Macedon, and, well, looks kind of weird, doesn't it? As you can see, we have a standard Silver Shield Pikemen. There's 6 of them that are gold 2. Or Royal Pikemen, rather. There's, in the back, though, as you can see, Silver Shield Pikemen. They're just gold, 5 of those, my general in 1. Then even stranger is that we've got these Cataphracts with yellow capes, 6 of them. So not your normal average Macedon build here. The point of this game was to make a little experiment to sort of emulate aspects of what you'd see possibly in a team game. Because in team games, obviously, you're never, at least if you're facing like good players who mix units to make the most powerful force in one part of the map as possible, you're never just going to face like pure Macedon units, pure Seleucid units, especially if Carthage is coming at you, because it does have the advantage versus every other Pike faction in the game, and is really only at a really severe disadvantage versus Roman factions. So the point of this army, the logic behind it is, I've got these Cataphracts here. They're about 300 denarii more expensive than companions are. So to sort of have any semblance of an infantry force that could face 17 fucking Sacred Band long enough for me to use my Cataphracts, I had to take archers. I've got 3 of them here. I'd probably want to skirmish a little bit, this means. Cataphracts are extremely effective against armored units because they have a mace, and their charge bonus is one of the best in the game. It's got a 9. So they've got better armor and armor-killing stats than Praetorians do, and they have a better charge. The only thing that they're not as good at is really morale and stamina. So you've got to be careful for those things. But otherwise, unit for unit, they are the best cavalry when they're fresh. Now, the Silver Shield Pikemen, just to make it like not too unfair to poor Hamilcar with Carthage, the purpose of these, really, what I did was every Royal Pikeman that I couldn't make gold 2, I just made a gold Silver Shield unit and kept in the back as a reserve to make it maybe a little bit more, because I'm not really sure how unbalanced this would be. I'd say Macedon now definitely has the advantage just because of these guys. Anywhere it charges, even if a Sacred Band's facing it, a fresh Cataphract isn't really going to give a fuck, especially if there's like 6 of them going right through. They only have small pikes, and they've pretty much got to be turned around with guard mode on, like, to begin with, in order to really stop 6 of them, and who's really stupid enough to charge a pike facing you? So this is sort of the logic of my army. It's a pretty interesting build. It makes it more fair for Macedon, though I think the Silver Shield Pikemen and the lack of infantry numbers that I can afford kind of evens it out. I think Carthage actually probably still has an advantage just because it could easily win, the infantry battle still. Especially because even if I took all Royals, they'd have way less upgrades, I'd have less money. My archers would probably be lacking stats, if anything, and I'd still have to take them just to have upgrades. This is almost like taking gold 2 companions in a 1 versus 1, except these are a little cheaper than gold 2 companions, and they're better. So that makes it a pretty strong army. So let's see how it does. This is a lot of infantry. He has 17 of them, and Sacred Band are super cheap, so many of them have upgrades. And he does have 3 cav to match my 3 archers. All he has to do is maybe chase them around. It would force me to keep my Cataphracts from attacking because I'm defending those. And I don't have a lot of infantry, so he could maybe get by my Cataphracts, charge them from behind. If he charges well, he'll get a master out easily because he's got 17 fucking pikes smashing through them. And almost half of my pikes are just gold silver shields. So infantry is not the best, but 6 gold 2 royal pikes, not the worst thing ever. If I took 6 companions, 3 archers, then I'd have probably 11 gold 2 royal pikes, so my infantry would be much stronger. But I would have a harder time using my cav to punch through and rout 17 Sacred Band units. I don't think 6 companions would really do it unless a cluster of them were just in a bad spot and not defended and all blobbed up. So I'm going to kind of move my army to the side, try to get Hamilcar to move. I've got 4 Cataphracts here, 2 here. I've got all my Cataphracts actually where these 2 archers are, just to defend them. This archer here is just chilling. Once it stops moving, it's going to shoot Hamilcar's infantry. I don't care if he chases me. At this point, he's not going to catch me, and while he's moving, I'm just going to shoot him here. I've got pikes here to stop Hamilcar's cavalry from running this archer. And I've got another archer here that's stopped, and it's ready to shoot the backs of these Sacred Band at any moment. I'm just going to prematurely move this archer backwards, keep my Cataphracts near it, make sure Hamilcar's 3 cavalry can't harass me. Because for all the cavalry power that I have, it's very slow moving. I don't want to get it tired. And he's got pikes backing him up. So with Cataphracts alone, I can't defend them super well, but I can do a good enough job. And I fucking lose one anyway, because he just... I try to make it run too early. There's a little delay usually. Didn't run very fast in time, and it got routed, but... So pretty bad. I'm relying on skirmishing to really help out with this infantry disadvantage that I have. So Hamilcar is kind of struggling to get his units in position. That gives me a lot more time to just shoot his pikes as they're blobbed up and running around all over the place. As you can see, we've got units that have been... a couple are below the 80s right now. Nothing too bad, but I do have this archer here in the back, still shooting at the backs of these guys. So he's going to use all of his units to just sort of smash in my army. It's not a very impressive army. It's just 6 gold 2, 5 gold silver shield pikemen. Once the gold 2s are out of the way, you should have no problem just mopping up what's left. He did lose a cav trying to get an archer, but he only took 3 cav. The main issue here is just this amount of pikes. He's just sent them all in at one time. But my pikes, you know, they're pretty well upgraded. There's 6 of them fighting at one time versus 13 of his 17 Sacred Band. So, considering my numbers, I'm holding out long enough to survive. I'm eventually going to lose, obviously. And I've got some silver shields. I'm even using the silver shields to come in for support. That's how desperate this is getting. As you can see, his units are just slowly kind of seeping through. They're getting through the pike line. Not a good situation whatsoever. He's able to flank a little bit. These units that are turned around, I can shoot in the backs with this Cretan archer here that's in my army. He's going to keep trying to harass it with his cavalry, which is a pretty smart move. So, noticing that his royal pikes are starting to rout, I'm trying to get in position with my Cataphracts as much as I can here. I've got these archers still shooting the backs of these Sacred Band as much, but that alone is not going to be enough. He's using his reserves to block my Cataphracts from interfering, which is a very wise move. He definitely doesn't want them charging the backs of Sacred Band. He's going to try to charge me from behind, but my general's there just in time to stop it. And there's a few gaps opened. He's moving around, so I'm just gonna take advantage of that and charge in with Cataphracts. I've got this one Sacred Band unit here. A lot of my Cataphracts died on this side, but this unit had about... It only just engaged. It had about 81 men in it. It's down to 41, so it lost 40 units from that one charge alone. I've gotten 2 units of Cataphracts involved right in the backs of these Sacred Band. One has already started to rout, and these units are saying they're being defeated, which is pretty good because I'm only fighting, you know, I'm only using 10 of my 11 pikes at best to face 13 or 14 of his 17 infantry strong army. And one problem maybe with blobbing into an army like this with all your units at once is that when you do that, they all get tired, all of them, as opposed to, you know, just sending a wave in, then another wave, then another wave. When you just send them all in at once, and it takes them a long time to get through a really good pike player's pike defense. The problem is that, you know, yeah, you'll have 13, 14 units, but they're all fucking tired, and when they get cav charged, they're going to rout. So that's something you definitely have to be careful of. He doesn't have... his reserves have been outmaneuvered. As you can see, these gaps, I've just sent Cataphracts right through the little gaps. And I'm going to start to rout a lot of tired or winded Sacred Band that have been fighting for a long time. Versus all these Cataphracts. And as you see, we're getting very good routes here. This unit on the side routed. I haven't even used all of them yet, and just my Cataphracts sitting there with their mace out. As you can see, at least a few of them have their mace. No, they're just using their lances. Maybe I should have pressed alt attack. I don't know, but they're doing a good enough job, honestly. Still routing units. Not even used all my Cataphracts yet, and this gigantic blob of Sacred Band that were sent against me is, honestly, it's just been wiped out completely. A lot of units were just killed before they routed. There's a lot of dead bodies. I'm going to send in more Cataphracts. I used 4 Cataphracts out of my 6. I did not use all of them. And essentially, all of Hamilcar's infantry was wiped out. So, you can see all these dead bodies here. Just tons of Sacred Band, all wiped out on, and I only had 11 pikes. And half of them are Silver Shield pikemen. So more Cataphracts coming over here in this little cluster. He does have enough infantry. He probably could beat this infantry force still, but I still have all my cav. He isn't really doing many things relevant with his cav. He could at least countercharge before all the Sacred Band units routed, and he's just going to admit defeat. So again, I didn't use all of my Cataphracts, and all of these Sacred Band are dead. This is a lot of units, mainly just from cavalry. Not much of my pikes were losing pretty bad. Average victory here. Let's look at the kills. The Cataphracts got only units that got into the triple digits were the Cataphracts. The pikes got okay kills, all things considered. Cretan archers also got some decent kills too. If you consider 51 kills, that's 50. That's more than half a unit of Sacred Band. That was probably the one shooting them from behind. These Cataphracts killed almost 2 units of Sacred Band each, these two, and I really didn't even use most of them that much. So really just 2 Cataphracts were the decisive factor there. The rest of the kills were mainly from just units routing, and that was dispersed throughout the mix of Royal and Silver Shield pikemen that I had. So this army, is it OP? Is it an unfair mod? Yeah, because in vanilla, the Hamilcar knew I was taking Cataphracts before the game began, but this kind of shows that if you send Cataphracts over to your Macedon ally and you're able to get good charges in versus whatever's attacking him, Macedon doesn't have it has pretty good infantry, but it's not the best. But paired with something like Cataphracts or Praetorians or something like that, something a bit stronger than Companions, it'll be pretty fucking devastating. If the enemy player attacking Macedon does not have good reserves, or if all their infantry attacking is tired. This mod, I think, pretty much balances out Macedon. It still doesn't really do anything for their infantry. If anything, it makes their infantry worse, which is a bit of a disadvantage. There are no urban cohorts or Sacred Band by any means, but how great Cataphracts are at just killing short pike units or just urbans from behind when they're preoccupied on other units really helps to make up for that in certain situations. I still wouldn't say that it gives Macedon an absolute advantage, but if you're going to make sort of a mixed army of Cretan archers, pikes, and 6 cav, you stand a really good chance against most armies. So just a little experiment. Nothing too fancy.